I get angry sometimes.
You do?
Yeah. A lot of times I feel like people think that I don't. I don't know. It's easy for me to come off as somebody who like doesn't get super angry. And like if you see me in a lot of situations, like I can regulate pretty well when it comes to situations where I should be angry on behalf of like the way that someone's treating me or something like that. But like,
Yeah.
I don't get angry in those situations a lot.
That's fair.
I don't know.
I think that you know that anger is almost my default.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's buried deep, deep down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what keeps me moving.
Mm-hmm. It's like a slow boil, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that simmer. Like you're like, it's like the on simmer and like you just add a couple ingredients and you're like back to a full boil.
Yeah.
I feel
exactly.
like that's how your anger like is sometimes.
Yeah.
Whereas mine's like something that I feel like it's like it feels like Mount Doom. Like it's like so hard to access, but like once you get in there, it's like, what the fuck?
Is that another Lord of the Rings reference, dude?
Sure was, buddy.
Welcome to This Feels Nerdy, I guess. Just kidding, that rocks. We love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous of the fact that
It's actually come full circle and it's back to cool. And my name's Cool Cat West. Fuck me. I hate myself right now more than...
This is Cool Cat West.
Just-
I'm totally tubular Tyler Jones.
Oh, let me just like
Let's
step
get
off
it.
the cliff and just sink into the lava.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's just
The
it's
fire's from whence it came.
great. That's great. Yeah. It's like, we're the raddest people on the planet. And well, this feels funny. So welcome to the show. This is a real podcast about silly. Wait, hold on.
It's a silly podcast about real feelings.
That's right. I fucked it up this time.
You fucked it up,
and
not
you,
me.
And you fixed it.
And I swooped right in. Boom, bing bong.
Yeah. Well, we're let me try your part then, okay? So this is a real do it again?
This is a silly podcast about real feelings.
Right. We're just two comedians that are trying to be vulnerable and stop taking things so seriously because people like to take emotions and feelings way too seriously.
All the time. And I actually I don't want to like cry ever on stage. I've done a joke before where I'm like, stand-up's a lot like sex for me. Like the chances of me crying and running away, never zero, you know. But like as a kid, I used to say, my dad tells me this still all the time. I would look at him and be like, I have feelings, you know.
That's amazing.
That was
How
my
old were
line
you?
when I was like 3.
When
I
you
was
were
like,
3?
I have feelings, you know.
You have feelings or you have feelings?
It was feelings.
You have feelings?
I have feelings, you know.
Yeah. And whenever I get like really annoyed with somebody too, it's really funny that you said feelings. One of my like chambered like things that I would say to somebody is like if they got all like pissy, I'd be like, "Oh, did I hurt your feelings?" That's one of my favorite things to say.
But we've all got some feelings.
Yeah. So did I hurt your feelings? Did I hurt your feelings, dude?
And
like,
that is
Jesus.
actually my speech. I
am so condescending.
I
I'm gonna get
held on
punched.
to that speech impediment for too long. So
Yeah.
like there's like multiple like traumas and sadnesses tied up into the I have feelings, you know?
Yes.
And like it's funny, but like if I say it in the wrong setting on stage and it's not received, I might cry. Cause you know what? I have feelings, you know? Like
Jesus.
really, truly, it's a big risk to take.
Yeah.
That's what the joke with stand-up and comedy. I'm like, it's a big risk to take, the risk of crying and leaving stage.
Yeah. I've been taking to more of the feeling stuff on in my comedy lately, even more so.
Nice.
Because I've been feeling a lot of things lately.
Having feelings.
It's been really like a lot of things that are not positive, and things that are really like difficult. And I'm trying to process a ton of it right now because, you know, I'm experiencing uniquely a lot of grief right now, like grief on a level that I've never experienced before, and that I never thought that I would have to experience. And then honest to God, to be real, I think this is probably I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but grief in a way that I shouldn't have to experience. Like, and it makes me angry because God, this is the nice part about having a podcast is you can say whatever you want. And I'm not going to say anything that's hurtful. I'm not going to say anything that's so insensitive. But, you know, when people are not taking care of themselves and then they do things that eat away at another person, it makes me angry. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave it that vague because I don't want to sound like fucking shitty. But, like, the impact that it has on me creates that boiling anger you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It causes it to spill over, and not even a wooden spoon can stop it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why it causes me to feel so angry, because it's like I can grieve, I can be upset, I can hurt, but it's the anger that fucks me up the most. And it's something where it's like, it's almost like I'm using that anger. That anger is there to protect me.
Yeah.
All the time.
I've realized that, like, most anger is unfelt grief. And, like, it's, like, sorrow.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of anger is, like, sadness, kind of thinly veiled. Mm-hmm. But so it's interesting that you bring up, like, holding both at the same time. Because anger is, it is something that by itself is valid. Like, it isn't always just covering grief or sadness. Like, there is just, like, valid, indignant anger. Like, I should see that and be upset. I shouldn't even be sad about that. Like, it's sad that it exists, and sometimes the anger does lead you to, like, I'm angry because it's sad this is the way that things are. Mm-hmm. But then, like, anger by itself can be something that is, like, really motivating and, like, really energizing, but then it can also feel like it's that uncontrollable, like when it's like full fucking, like everything's spattering and it's getting everywhere and like you're getting hit, and that's where anger gets like scary. You get like the explosions and everything. But like, I mean, some anger, it's like, it's, have you ever, like, you know, when you see people that like just let people treat them certain ways and they don't, and they're just like so nice about it. They're just like, oh no, it's totally fine that they cheated on me 5 times, you know?
Yeah.
And did it again. Like, oh, it's okay. Like, he said sorry, and they were, you know, it's like, you need to be upset about that. What the fuck?
So that's
like,
the productive anger you're
like,
talking
yeah,
about?
Yeah, like the productive anger at things that should make us angry. Like, that is valid. That's actually, sadness is just going to get you in a hole. Like, be mad about it. It might energize you into some action on that thing.
Why do you think that that's such a challenge for people?
Because
we're taught.
I think because like we're taught that like anger is scary. Mm-hmm. How many of us grew up with a boomer father that his anger was explosive, and it taught us that anger is a thing to be afraid of?
Yeah.
And so now we don't know how to use our anger because anger is bad and we should shove it down. And it's like, no, I should be angry sometimes. I'm mad.
On the flip side of that, do you also think that people will, because of what they learned from the explosive boomer father, mm-hmm. that they should use anger as a tool for control?
I don't know. I mean, anger, like, it does help me sometimes when if I can channel it, like if I can realize like I'm angry about this thing, but it's so hard because anger still, for me, again, it's I grew up with an angry boomer father, explosive anger. Like, sure. So it's something that makes me feel out of control and then kind of scared and then kind of shameful of the potential that I see in myself for explosion.
Yeah.
The same kind of explosions that made me scared. Like, so it's something that I'm learning how to harness, but I do think that it's something that it's an energy that you could harness for sure. Mm-hmm. Way more than like fear or anxiety. Anger can propel, you know? Like sometimes like that's one of the things that like being mad at myself for my own inaction is what will propel me into action.
Really?
Yes. Not beating up myself and being like, wow, it's just so sad you're like this. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You said you were going to do better and you're just not. Wow, yeah. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. I wish you were doing better. And then I'm like, oh man, okay.
There's a level of forgiveness there too.
Yes.
Because it's like, you know, if I were to characterize anger, right? Mm-hmm. If I were to apply like a character to it, I think of like, during your Sins and Virtues show, I got to do wrath, and the theme of my entire presentation, my bit, my whole 10 minutes up there was I went back to the whole thing of like anger has given me everything, and like almost everything in my life. It feels like sometimes, it's the one thing that keeps me safe. It's the one thing that fuels my ambition. It's the one thing that does X, Y, and Z and protects me in so many ways. At least that's how I was thinking. I'm not correct on that.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
the truth.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
That's an
something.
interesting way to view anger, though.
Yeah.
That's just yeah.
But then
Continue.
I look at it on the other side, and I went from that. And I said, here's these good things, and then I told a story about how it's done good things for me, but it was a dumb, funny story. And then I went to the other side where I said, okay, here I have also, but it also has caused me to be impatient. It also causes me to be selfish. It also causes me to be narrow-minded and unforgiving. And so, like, when you talk about what you're mentioning there, I can be angry at myself in a way that propels me forward. Then what you're doing is you're forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Because
yeah. I'm letting myself be frustrated with myself rather than giving in to like, well, I'm just this way.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, I guess I just am this way. I'm like, no, I'm mad at you because you're better than that. Like, you can do better than that. And I'm upset with the fact that you think you can't.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And we assign morality to these emotions.
Yes.
Happiness is good. Positivity is good.
Yes.
Joy is good. Humor is good. Sadness is a bad emotion. Anger is bad. It is morally wrong to be angry when it is not. What is this is the most basic psychology on a level, but it's taking out your anger on others or allowing that to cause destruction. Those good feelings can also be destructive.
Yeah, like you go to a funeral and you're full of joy and you're peppy, like that's a destructive thing to do. That's a destructive thing to do with joyful energy. So it's true that like it's a good and very linear black and white way to think about it, because I think black and white thinking is helpful sometimes.
Yeah.
And very unhelpful other times. Like anger can be good and bad.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know. That's a fun way to consider it.
For me to get mad for me to be angry with somebody who has wronged me is okay.
It's good.
Because what it can allow me to do is to fuel me to process it. Being angry at somebody, not processing it, and then punching them in the face, that's not okay.
No.
I don't do that, but, it is hard. And I think that just like what we were talking about with like grieving, I'm struggling so much with coming to terms with the fact that maybe I have not been as real with myself as I should be. I have made decisions for the sake of other people feeling good and other people feeling happy that have cost me my dignity, it feels like, that have cost me time, cost me resources, and things of that nature, all because I want to be loving, kind, forgiving, and I don't want them to feel a burden. And then I look back at it, and I am now taken advantage of. I am now ignored, neglected, abandoned, etc. in those cases, or at a loss, with no gain whatsoever. Not even like the satisfaction of having done something well for somebody where they actually value what I did. It's just alone. And it hurts so bad. And the only thing that pulls me out of that is feeling angry at these people for I shouldn't have to grieve this way, because maybe it's selfish. It might be wrong. It might be out of touch. It might be one-sided, and I know that, but I get angry because this shouldn't be happening this way, but it is, and I'm disappointed.
So that's a situation where it sounds like the anger is hiding, like, I'm just sad that I allowed myself to be treated this way, or that I thought I had to offer this much to receive your love and acceptance, and it still wasn't even enough. Yeah. And that is a normal thing, and that's
it's an okay thing to feel. But my therapist told me that it can't stop at just feeling angry about it. It's okay to feel upset about it. It's okay to feel these feelings. Obviously don't go start screaming at these people and do whatever. But you got to take an action that is going to help preserve you and is not going to necessarily cause harm to others. And then she made a really good point to me because of one of the symptoms, actually, believe it or not, of obsessive compulsive disorder is, it's one of the biggest ones, and you might know this, listeners might know this, but if you don't, it is a paralyzing fear of causing mental, physical, or emotional harm to others. Because there are rules, there are things, there's ways that you should behave, and you're afraid of your actions causing pain.
And like, I really resonate with that. I'm so hyper aware of my effect on other people, but there is something in that I've realized for myself that like, I'm like, there is control, but then there's also, there's a certain amount of ego in assuming that I have the power to make that effect on others.
Yeah.
And like realizing like, it's been really helpful for me to kind of decenter myself. And it's like, it is this act of like telling myself to like, just like trying to quell my ego and being like, you couldn't really truly affect them that much. The amount that you think you're so worried about them being hurt or not okay or whatever, not feeling recognized or whatever it is, like you actually couldn't affect that much change in them, no matter how hard you tried.
Right.
Like they're their own person. And like, and then it just sitting into the powerlessness of that and then being like, oh, that's actually really empowering to realize like I am not so responsible for my effect on other people. I am just like, I can just like do what I need to do. And like, it's not up to me whether or not they're okay. As long as I'm trying my best and I'm not being mean or hurtful or hateful, Yeah. Like I'm not gonna fuck them up that much by being honest, but it's also assuming that like they have the autonomy, like they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to worry about saying this one wrong thing and now they're fucked forever. You don't have that much power.
Yeah.
You're not that powerful. Like they have the autonomy to not choose that path. And if that did happen, like if you were right, because sometimes we're right about the things that we're anxious about, but even if you're right and you say this thing and it fucks them up to this degree, it's up to them to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's not on you. It's not your responsibility. It's not mine. It's not anybody's but them. And like, they're just going to have to walk through the world and understand how to deal with their shit.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because I want to help everybody. I have such a savior complex.
Yeah.
I know you do too.
I don't think I have much of a savior complex where as much as I just want to make people really like happy, but I don't want to fix their problems. Hey, maybe I do.
Yes, you do.
Maybe I do.
I'm not going to pretend to know everything, but yes, yes, he has a savior complex. Yeah. Oh, buddy. Thank you guys for listening.
That's a clip. Well, we still got a little bit of time.
Do we?
Yeah, we still got a little bit of time. Yeah, look at that.
Okay.
We still got a little bit of time. We got a couple minutes before we can knock this off.
Okay, so this is something that I'm going to say a couple things that I do not want to say about anger because they make me clench up and make me feel weird about myself. Yeah, go ahead and sit back. It's okay. One of the things that I do that I'm still like, every time I do it, I get embarrassed and I feel lame and stupid, but like I literally will punch the air. That's one of the things that I will do with some of my anger.
Up or forward?
Forward.
Sorry.
And I'm like squat position.
Forward?
I'm like squat position right here and I'm just like, oh, I'm fucking mad. It's so pathetic.
You're squatting?
Not like full squat, but I'm like in a position, like I'm standing, but I'm like set.
Because when I'm a mat, yeah, show us.
Like,
show us.
I like really square my hips.
Okay, you're squared up.
I'm just squared up with knees a little bit bent so that I can really like fully.
Okay, because what I'm imagining is it's just you like this.
Nope, not that.
But check out that squat though. I still got it, guys. This is crazy. The mobility.
It's okay.
Let's talk. It's okay.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm.
Uh huh.
Oh man, violence against women is funny.
Yeah, that's a thing we are all supposed to joke about, right?
Yeah, dude. Shout out to certain comedians in this fucking scene. Anyway, thank you, Kat. That was actually really good. I feel better after punching the air in a squat position.
It really does help, and like it feels so pathetic and so stupid while you're doing it. Sometimes I'll go on a walk, and then sometimes I'll just start saying, I'll say fuck, and I'll just say mean shit in the air. I'll be like, I'm fucking mad. That's not cool. And it's just that dumb and pathetic, and it does help. It sure do. And people think it's funny. When I get angry, people think it's funny. And I'm like, I'm really fucking mad right now. I'm really mad about this. And they're just like, oh, are you? Are you mad? And yes, I'm mad
Dude,
sometimes.
You're one of best friends.
Yeah, buddy.
You're one of
That was so loud.
best friends.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That's so awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for watching and listening.
I'm Kat West.
And I'm Tyler Jones.
And This Feels Funny. It's a podcast. We do it on all the streaming platforms. You just go ahead and listen. Don't even worry about it. Don't even second guess it for a second.
Yes.
Don't even worry. Just go ahead and take a listen.
Share it with your fucking friends. And please just, like, I don't know.
You
do
can do
things.
It. Do things that make you feel good. I hope maybe you punch the air or yell. Or I will highly recommend screaming at full volume in your car at a red light where people could notice you.
Like
and
this.
then looking... No.